And speaking of not overthinking, but timelines, I have
Mhm.
been watching people that are spiritually motivated to do certain things, and they use a lot of the verbiage of different timelines.
Mhm.
Now, how do you clarify, for example, how do you know you're living on the right timeline? Or do you have a choice of what timeline you want to go?
There's a certain level of choice there, I would say.
Mhm. Because
For
I
me.
can listen to some of the just like news reports or
Mhm.
spiritual people, and they give their vision or view on certain things, and then they'll say, "Oh, that's another timeline." But on this time, and I'm like, "Okay, let's stick to this timeline because we're not on another timeline yet."
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when it comes to stepping into certain spiritual awareness, about certain things, you start to see and understand that everything is a timeline around you.
Mhm.
You know? However, my thing about it is that the answer to whatever you want for yourself is consistency. All managing or all really stepping into a timeline for yourself is it's about consistency in this physical body. What will you consistently pour your energy into? I was talking to my brother about this earlier. If you consistently drink, you're gonna get a result. If you consistently
Mhm.
smoke, you're gonna get a result. If you consistently pour your energy a certain way, you're gonna get a result. It's just about understanding. If you understand it, stepping into a timeline as remaining consistent to one way of being, then that's it. If you consistently, set yourself up in a way for something, you're going to have some result, and sometimes that result may be what you think it is. Sometimes it may surprise you, you know, and you could be doing certain things for a specific reason, and spirit has a whole other understanding of why you're doing this in a sense. Like I got 2 degrees in basically computers, the IT field, and in doing that, like I know a lot about computers, and I was, planning to work and get jobs in relation to that understanding. But instead, Spirit's plan was like, well, now you can run your own websites and do all of these other things, freelance with technology. And this is something that you can do, even though that wasn't the reason why I decided to do it. That wasn't my plan, So I really think that timelines, when it comes to the timelines that you have around you, is really just about thinking about what you want for yourself. And if you see a timeline that feels the most intuitively right for you, move toward it. Like that energy was telling you, just do it, even if
Mhm.
it seems scary. I mean, sometimes, especially if it seems scary,
Mhm.
because yeah, sometimes, especially if it seems scary, because that is often the thing that is what might be the most fulfilling for you. I'm not going to say all the time. It's going to be situational based in a sense. But a lot of times, the things that are the scariest understanding for us, they're the thing that has a lot to offer us, depending. We could be scared about how am I going to do this? How am I going to manage this? This is new to me. Well, then break it down. If it's an elephant, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, figuring out what's the first bite to take to eat, or what's the first step to take in a sense, and breaking it down so it's probably going to be anxious inducing or scary in some sense, but it'll be less so because you're not looking at it as this big elephant of the understanding, but a smaller version of that. So, what piece is the closest to you? What piece in
Right.
your environment can you change the easiest in a sense? And that's how I look at timelines. I look at everything in my environment, I see it as timelines, and I understand like what is the best way for me to go about where I want to head for myself. And it's not always easy. Sometimes the timelines that I know I need to do for myself, they are tiring, or they feel like, oh, but
Right.
I also know if this is what I want, then I need to remain consistent to that. And nobody said it's easy, but like it really is the way a lot of times.